Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. In this video I'm going to tell you how to reduce the vibrations on your videos for YouTube. Catch you inside. RevelatorAlf. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. In this video I'm going to be talking about how to reduce the vibrations on your videos when uploading to YouTube or any other platform. So really I'm talking about kind of action shots, move-in shots, and the kind of vibrations that you can get and the kind of juggling about of the video image, which really isn't going to make it a very watchable experience for your audience, and basically the quality isn't going to be that great. Okay, so why is it happening? Well, let's say if you've got your action cam, whatever it is, and you mount it to a solid surface. Let's say you mount it onto, the prop wasn't ready, you mount it to a tripod, for example. Now that tripod is on a moving object, okay? Well, that moving object, it's a solid link, okay? So there's a solid link between the moving object and the camera is going to be bouncing around all over the place. What that means is that the processor inside isn't really able to cope with this changing image capture. Now for older cameras, let's say this Drift HD or a GoPro 4, for example, Hero 4, they don't have inbuilt video stabilization. GoPro 5 and beyond, I believe, all have image stabilization. So that really helps with this vibration, and it kind of smooths out the whole image. What I'm really talking about is just getting started with using normal cameras or older cameras, and you know how to reduce the overall vibration. So first of all, try and avoid mounting it directly to a solid surface. Now let's say, forget about the tripod, let's now replace the tripod with the motorcycle. If you actually mount it to the motorcycle frame near the engine, for example, then you're going to get a lot of vibrations. If you mount it to the handlebars or to the indicator stalks, you're going to get a lot of vibrations. Now, depending on what frame per setting you use, frames per second setting you use, you might be able to reduce that a little bit. So you can increase the frames per setting up to, let's say, 60 frames per second, and that might reduce it. But if you're going over lots of rough terrain, you're still going to get lots of vibrations, and you will get this kind of jelloing effect, this jelly effect on the side of the image. And I know because I've had it on so many of my videos, and for the longest time I couldn't work out why this was happening. No matter what I did with the frames per second, what I did with the HD, you know, the HD quality, and so on and so forth. And it's all to do with how the image sensor processes that image, and it's about the stabilization. So whenever the camera was mounted to the bike on some point, I'd always get this kind of image stabilization issue, this jelloing effect, and the faster I went, the more it would happen. Now, as soon as I took the camera off the bike, the rigid mounting to the bike, and I placed it on myself, either as a chest cam with a GoPro or as a helmet cam, all of a sudden, even with the older cameras, I didn't get the vibrations nearly half as much, and I certainly didn't have any of that jello effect either on the side of the image. So that's what's happening. You've got the vibrations are too much for the camera to deal with, therefore you need to find a way of absorbing those vibrations. Now on an action sports scenario, the best shock absorber is you. You are the best shock absorber. Have the camera mounted to a helmet, either on top or on the side if you want to. You can have it as a chest cam, as a shoulder cam, you know, either as a wrist cam, that kind of thing. You know, you can have that kind of thing that will actually absorb the natural vibrations. Your body acts as that big shock absorber, and you'll be able to reduce the vibrations actually on the being registered by the camera itself. With a GoPro 5 and later drift cameras, they've got image stabilization already built in, which really helps with that. And some of the image quality is really great, so you can still rigidly mount it, but you do get this kind of a waving effect when it's starting to pick up everything. However, the quality is superb compared to the old ones, and it's all to do with image stabilization. Now, what can you do if you've got this vibration on your camera, on your video that you've shot, and it's a one-shot deal and you can't go back and shoot it again? Okay, so you can have image stabilization within your video editing software, and usually, I use quite a simple program, iMovie on a Mac, and I've got an image stabilization option which helps to stabilize the image. It doesn't work fantastic, but at least it helps a little bit. YouTube have got it as well. You can stabilize the image with that, and I think in YouTube Studio, which will be coming out, is out really, I suppose, in the beta platform, but obviously will be rolling out soon. I think they're also including that in the editing software as well. So you can do something for this vibrations. So that's basically where you mount the camera, and also what you can do post taking the video to stabilize the image. Now, the other thing you can do is actually really monitor where you're riding and on the surface on which you're riding. So let's say, for example, if you're riding or doing something on a very smooth surface that you're not going to get a lot of vibrations. Let's say in motorcycle terms, we're going to talk about, let's go on a motorcycle racetrack. Where it is really smooth, it's a smooth surface to get the best traction and grip, on the tyres, so on and so forth. We know the deal. Well, there you can actually mount the camera directly to the bike, on the side of a bike, with either very close suction cup or a sticky a bracket that will stick to the bike itself, or with some kind of bracket that you can mount to the handlebars or to the motorcycle frame in some way. You can do that, and it will give you a really good image. You still might get a little bit of vibration with the older cameras, but because the surface is so smooth, you'll get a much better image. Now, bear this in mind. You can use the vibrations as some kind of video effect as well, to give the overall impression of you are in motion, there is motion. So let's say, for example, recently I went to a motorcycle in the mountains in Italy. I went to ride on lots of rocky roads and everything like that. So I had lots of problems with motorcycle mounts and with the helmet that I had, and I had this suction cup that wasn't really working, and it was all going to be a major drama. But in the end, I was able to mount the camera on a suction mount to the motorcycle tank. So I had a forward view overlooking the handlebars, overlooking the front of the bike. Now, the image quality wasn't pristine, but actually what it did, it gives you a very, very good idea of the vibrations that I was having to deal with, the terrain and the rocky roads. And it's actually a great video in those terms. Okay, in terms of actual image stabilization, no, it's not. But in terms of actually reflecting exactly what I was going through and what I was trying to portray in the video, it was perfect. So I kind of lucked out there. So image vibrations aren't always necessarily a bad thing. You can use that to portray a certain message, within the video, whether it's, rough terrain, or whether it's you're going over a bump or something like that on an otherwise smooth trail. However, if you really do want a smooth picture the whole way through, then you kind of have to look at where you're mounting it on some kind of shock absorber system. Use your body as well. That would be an overall thing, an overall better. Or you need to really start looking at upgrading to a brand new model style action cam. whatever. Now I'm not talking about DSLRs because we don't really use those in terms of action sports or motion sports. Yes, if we're filming something, if I'm filming something like something going by, or I'm filming myself, you know, entering a forest or entering a trail, that kind of thing with the bike in view, yes, I can use a DSLR. But then we're not really talking about image stabilization because the camera is mounted on a tripod and it's on a flat surface and the camera isn't moving. The subject matter is moving, which the camera can easily pick up, of course, but the camera isn't moving, so you're always going to get a steady shot. What I'm talking about is when the camera is moving because it's rigidly mounted to something. So that's how you can reduce the vibration. Take it off the rigid mounting, put it on your body, put it on chest cam, helmet cam position, wrist cam, shoulder, whatever it is, then you can do that. Obviously you can put it on a you know, a selfie stick and that kind of thing, so you can be moving around, and you know, you can also have a selfie stick with a kind of a gimbal on it, you know, which will actually allow for the movement of the camera, so you'll kind of get this sort of moving image, but it smooths everything out. However, obviously with the newer cameras you won't need to do that, so obviously with the older cameras you won't need to do that. So you can still get great results with any kind of camera, whether it's a smartphone, whether it's a action cam, whether it's a DSLR, but you just got to be aware of how you're mounting it, how you're using it, and how much vibration the camera is getting at the time of recording. That's the crucial thing. At the time of recording, is the camera moving around? If it is, then you're going to have image stabilization problems. Even with the brand new cameras, you really don't want to have too much, because you're actually you're demanding a lot of processing power from that camera. So what would you rather have? Have a very shaky image, or you know, a rock solid image? And that's what you've got to ask yourself. Okay, but as I said, there are different effects that you can incorporate using vibrations, you know, on your videos. Anyway, I hope this video helps. So, you know, I'm always experimenting with camera mounts on my motorcycle, on my person, and whether I'm using remote cameras on tripods and things like that. And all I would say to you is just experiment. Just keep on experimenting with different types of cameras, whatever you can afford. And that's a key thing. What can you afford? Different types of cameras, different mounts, different tripods, selfie sticks, that kind of thing. But as I say, the best thing to do is get the camera away from a moving surface that's going to create a lot of vibration, and just put it on some kind of shock absorption system, i.e. your body, or some kind of gimbal system which will allow it to still maintain a steady position, but the whatever the surface can move beneath it. Okay, hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Please leave comments below and let me know what you think. If you like the video, great, hit like on it as well. And if you like this video series and also the channel, please subscribe and hit the notifications button. I've got a lot more videos coming out, giving you tips and advice on, you know, on how I do things. Also, lots of videos on motorcycling, riding, point of view riding videos, and also travelling and motorcycle exploring videos as well. So check out the channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.